I feel slightly guilty at the moment because I'm sitting in comfort in a ferry going from Sweden to Poland, bringing aid for Ukraine from Sweden. When we heard about the latest terrorism act by the Russians, I spent Christmas, New Year, and much of January in the villages which are now affected by this awful catastrophe. I've got no way of knowing how many of the people I met in those villages are homeless, how many are even still alive, because communications down there are very, very difficult. Um, One thing I do know is there are so many things which are needed right now. In particular, things like water pumps, tubing, filtering for water because drinking water is completely contaminated. Um, there's people have been forced out of their homes yet again um, with nothing. So clothes, um, basic basic medicines, basic things to help them survive, hygiene products, um, everything that you can imagine that you would need if you suddenly end up out of your home at no warning, which is what's happened again. Again, we also need things like cages to rescue pets because Ukrainians, like the British, are very much animal lovers, and there's lots and lots of animals there that people are trying to rescue. All of those things are really needed. If you look online for the charity Transport Assister, that's Transport Assister. It's actually a Polish charity, and they're organising a lot of aid, but what they can't do, they'll simply forward to other people. You know, we're not playing political games here. You know, different organisations, there's no demarcation, everyone's working together to help. So if you're making donations, it doesn't really matter, you know, so long as it's genuine. It doesn't really matter whether it's a which charity it goes to, it will all help. And obviously physical donations are ideal as well. The most important thing is things to purify water, even things like water purifying tablets. The only problem is they are needed now, not in a week's time, not in a month's time. They're needed right now, and we're trying to source them in nearby countries like Slovakia, because all of the ones in Ukraine already been shipped out to places like Kherson. Those villages are basically, they're low-lying villages. I was there over Christmas and the first part of January. They're mostly populated by elderly people who were not allowed to leave by the Russians when they took over. And it's not a military area. These are civilians being deliberately targeted yet again. And ironically, when the dam was built by the Russians years ago, it caused major ecological disasters. Well, now they're causing another one, and only time will tell how long, if ever, the ecology of the area will take to recover. The bitter irony for those under Russian control is the flooding is probably worse on the east of the Dnipro River because it's more low lying, and the Russians are literally shooting people trying to escape. In addition, there is going to be severe problems with water supply for Russian-held Crimea, probably for years, as that lake was the biggest supplier of fresh water for them. This has gone on and gone on and gone on, and the West has sat back with frankly idiots like Biden saying we can't do this, we can't do that because of escalation. I'm sorry, mate. Putin's escalating. He's been escalating since the beginning. Stop playing the Neville Chamberlain act and act. Do something. This evil man, like Hitler, must be stopped. Russia must be stopped. If you think you're safe in the West, forget it. The more you let him get away with, the more danger he becomes to other areas as well. This guy must be stopped, and in the meantime these people must be helped.